said, my biggest issue right now is that this is already kind of a quiet class.
Right.
They were quiet in person.
Right.
So even more so, I have no like facial, I can't judge by them raising eyebrows or any of that. So that is one of the issues. And that's class personality too. And that's the great thing about this particular class is they are aware. So right before all this, before we closed, I kind of had said something in class, the last full meeting. I was like, guys, maybe nothing's going to come of this, but you're half online, be ready. And I'm going to do what I can to keep us active, and y'all may be guinea pigs. And they're kind of like, okay. So they've been really forgiving as far as I can tell for me, which has been nice. I'm also having to learn that long pause you give after asking a question in regular lecture, it has to be about double the time on here because it takes them longer to type. We have used the whiteboard before. Not everybody's mics work well, or if it does, they're like my house where the background there's kids and there's people. Like I have some students that have 6 or 7 other kids living with them, like early ed, and they've got a bunch of siblings, and there's just no silence. So they feel uncomfortable on mic. So I've said, okay, let's use the whiteboard. And what happens with the whiteboard, unless I guess I could put numbers in, but they all end up typing on top of each other. And they're like, so they've said they've told me they would rather use the chat box, which is why I've kind of leaned on that for this class, and it's worked pretty well.
I now have a strong opinion on this because I've been playing with it for hours, and I haven't ever done it, but I have a strong opinion because I've sat in on enough of these that you can assign anyone to be a moderator. And if you have a list of students, and not just the students that are your best, but rather randomly chosen, and you already know the moderators are going to be in these things, and they come in and you have 2 moderators. Now what you're going to do is your moderators can mute other people for you, which is great. If you want to have a poll up, you can say, hey, Bubba, can you please give me a quick poll? And they will know what you're saying by this point.
Can't scan quick enough between all of them. Like when they're all there today, we had 8. This class normally has 15 people. So in the beginning, I had probably 12 people, 13 people. And when they all start posting, it gets a little overwhelming for me.
Sure.
So I started taking and having them either send it to me, because I did do group work once, and that kind of became its own monster. I know that part of it is I need to figure out how better to organize them. But in the midst of it, since you've only got 15 minutes before the class opens, putting them all in groups, keeping track of those groups, not taking them out. The best way I found it to work was when I put them in groups, had them, I was mainly pairs because it was easier to manage, had them write something together, and then I had one of them email it to me.